Experience, quality, consistency, and the quickest turnaround times in the grading industry? We are proud to partner with SGC Grading. Check them out at www.gosgc.com. Experience, quality, consistency, and the quickest turnaround times in the grading industry? We are proud to partner with SGC Grading. Check them out at www.gosgc.com.
Hi, I'm Danny Black.
And I'm John Newman.
Welcome to Card Mensches. Well, hello. And as the intro just said, welcome to Card Mensches. I'm Danny. That's John. Do we know what episode this is yet?
39.
39?
Yep. It's crazy.
I was about to say, who would have taken the over on that bet?
I don't know. I'm going to hit the big 4-0 next 2 weeks from now.
That's, yeah, on my birthday weekend, that'll be a big show. We got to do something special.
I'm going topless. You heard it here for breaking news. This just in.
What's up, Ruben? We got a fun topic tonight. I'm trying to let a couple people get in here so we can share with everybody. Why don't we talk about stadium insurance real quick, and then we'll get started.
Well, some of the cards we're going to talk about on today's show probably should be insured. Stadium insurance, like what we say every week, if you ship, receive, or you have a really nice collection that you value, you should insure it, right? And stadium insurance not only insures your cards in your inventory, but anything you mail to someone else or you're getting from someone else. So people don't even realize that half the time. So it's key. And, you shoot a 20-minute video with your smartphone of your major parts of your inventory, and boom, you're good. You get the worth. It don't matter if you buy a mailer rookie for $100 and something happens, you get the market value, not the $100 you paid. So that's always a nice perk as well.
Awesome. All right, so I'm excited for tonight's show. We have a cool topic, our favorite cards for every American League team. So we're going to go around through each of the divisions, and this isn't the most expensive card or the most famous card. It
doesn't have to be a rookie. It could be a rookie, but doesn't have to be.
Great point. It's just a card that we think of, maybe, or we associate with the team. Maybe it's a favorite card of ours, but it was just something that when we think of this team, this was our favorite card.
Yeah, and some of them were tough. Some of them were a little easier than others. Even some we talked before the show. Some we had to kind of do a little research, like which direction we wanted to go. Some came right to me. They were sort of no-brainers too. So it's a little bit of everything. The nice thing about this episode, and it's something we try to do in a lot of our episodes, is get the chat room to chime in with, hey, you missed this one, or this one's mine. Sorry, guys. I shoot both of you down. This is my choice for that team's that team's favorite card of mine. And obviously, I'm a Met fan. But that being said, I have favorite cards as someone's been in the hobby way too long. I have favorite cards from teams, right? Some of these are going to be vintage. Some of these are not going to be vintage. That's the other thing. So,
well, some of the teams aren't vintage.
Yeah,
you can't find vintage Tampa Bay.
Yeah, no.
Maybe
they might be someday, but not today.
Ruben says the Devil Race 2001 Bowman, Greg the Toe Nash, just because of the name. That's what we're talking about.
That is what we're talking about,
and that's what he thought of.
Yeah,
that's the idea. So, I think we should go kind of in reverse and not start with the AL East. You want to start with the AL West?
Yeah, well, you kick it off with a team, and then we'll go from there.
All right, I'm going to start with chalk here. In the AL West, and I'm going in order of current division standings, is I think how I wrote it down. So that puts the Seattle Mariners up first. This is my chalkiest chalk. 89 Griffey Upper Deck.
Yeah, that's mine. That's mine too. I just think it's too iconic of a card to the hobby. You know, it's a card. Listen, we're not fooling anyone. It's not a short printed card. Matter of fact, the opposite is true. Right? Plenty of them in existence. But it's one of those cards people who aren't even in the hobby recognize. Like, oh, that's a Griffey rookie. It's just iconic. And you think Seattle Mariners, I know he's from Cincinnati, but you think Seattle Mariners, #1 pick, son of Ken Griffey Sr., played together. That card you don't even have to be the Mariners. It's just an iconic card. It's got to be. You don't have to be, but it was my choice as well for the Mariners.
I would be willing to say for over half the American League, if their player was that on that card, we would still take that card. That is just iconic.
Yeah, that one probably maybe one of the chalkiest picks probably out of the 15 we're gonna go through tonight.
All right, so let's move on there from there because we got a bunch to get through. Texas Rangers. I'm gonna throw out the one that I didn't pick first because I want to give a shout out to 1974 Jeff Burroughs.
Yeah, that's a good one. I won't say my pick yet. I won't say my pick yet. My pick is 2 years before that, and we'll leave it at that. But go ahead.
Okay, well, I'll show the one that I actually went with. This to me is just an all-time classic card. First of all, I love two sport athletes. Not that Ryan played in the NFL, but the throwing of the football, just the whole 89 Upper Deck is a set that of my age is iconic. And this is the card I think of when I think of the Texas Rangers. It's right across his chest. It's very obvious. That was my pick for the Rangers.
Yeah, that's a classic card. That is the backstory with the football throwing. For those that don't know, Tom Grieve is the one who installed that, and he said it helped with mechanics and with velocity, and so the Rangers adopted that philosophy, and the rest is history. So we see Ryan there, but a lot of the other pitchers did the same thing, but we don't really care about them. So we'll talk about it. So I picked, he's not known for as a Texas Rangers, but he was the manager there, not super long. The 1972 Tops. I don't have a picture. I didn't select it as a picture pick. The 19th Tom House. I said Tom Grieve, but I had my last names wrong. 1970 pitching coach. 1972 Tops. Ted Williams as the Rangers manager. Anytime you can get Ted Williams in an active card. I mean, he wasn't a player, but he was an active manager in the 1972. Texas Rangers. I bet you there's a few people. I bet some, probably a majority know, but there are probably a few people didn't even realize he managed the Texas Rangers.
Isn't that the card where he's wearing like a batting practice warm-up jersey or something?
Yeah, and it might even be one of those where they colorized it or whatever.
Yeah.
So. But every time I see that card, I chuckle and I'm not, listen, there's probably more valuable, well, there is more valuable Ranger cards, but I just thought, how cool is it to pick Ted Williams as it's my favorite Texas Ranger card. That's what the show's about. So, Ted Williams.
That's all that matters. All right, so moving on to the AL West, the Houston Astros. This was a interesting one for me. It turns out I don't really have a favorite Houston Astros card, but there's one that I think of when I think of the Astros, but I'll let you go first.
All right, I have a pick for this one, and it's coming from a set. You selected the other. You went the high numbers. I'm going the low numbers. the 89 Upper Deck regular series, Nolan Ryan, as a member of the Astros. Why I love this card, look at it. Like, this was Upper Deck's first foray into the hobby, and you got to try, wind up card. We hadn't seen this really yet. We don't count Sport Flick. We haven't seen this
We don't count
on
sport.
a regular non-Dufex card, right? And
Yep.
I mean, how cool was this when you first seen it? And I opened a lot of 89 Upper Deck. I'm sure other people did as well. The first time you seen this card, I remember the first time I seen this card, I'm like, is it an error? Is it a misprint? And then you realize when you got the next one, like, this is the card that's supposed to be like that. And how cool is that, the different stages of Nolan's iconic wind up? And I know, again, it's not about the most expensive Astro card. It's what card I think of when I think about Houston Astros. And this one is one of the first ones that comes up.
Well, that's all you need for it to matter. Barry, hello.
Barry. Well, it's not too late. You can still get some.
Right. They're still printing them.
The Griffies are still rolling off the presses.
Mark Hoyle talking about Ed Williams' manager. His first year Senators manager, the team batting average climbed considerably.
Yeah, one of the
Mark would
know.
Nice pick, Barry says, on the Nolan Ryan. So
it's just a cool card. That's just a cool card.
All right. So my card is the opposite of cool, but my card is definitely of its time.
Yeah.
The Jeff Bagwell rookie. Stadium Club. The pose reminds me of Mariano Rivera. If you put him,
except he's in uniform.
If you put him in pleated khakis and a polo.
Now, what is that? Is that a diving board? Is he like?
I don't know. I don't know what they were doing, but that's the card that I think of for the Astros.
It was a thinner looking Jeff Bagwell. That's all.
Those Sox legend. Yep. Barry says that's his too. Yeah, I mean it's the Bagwell. They're the bleachers in the background.
Oh, okay. All right. It almost looks like he's leaning against the diving board.
So I find the Bagwell rookie to be one of the funniest cards. It is so perfect for 91. It has 1991 written all over it.
Yeah, that was a great release in 91 Stadium Club. People, I know it's not in the grand scheme of things, value-wise, it's not. But it's, it was trying to be premium. It had the glossy feel, the foil lettering. I remember opening that like, hey, these are pretty cool. I'm a huge fan, not necessarily because of that year's release, but Stadium Club is one of my favorite brands of all time.
Well, I mean, the photography on any set at that level, and they just do it every year. So, okay. So moving on from Houston, Oakland, I went very chalk. So did you? I don't know what you did on Oakland, but I'll just say I went with the Reggie rookie. I'd be lying.
I didn't pick that.
I'd be lying if you tell me Oakland A's card, that's the one I go to.
Yeah, I have to watch that too, Mark. Thank you for. Hopefully it was nice. I haven't got any hate mail, so I think it was all right. Yeah, I missed the Reggie. I missed that one. I'll tell you, I went with probably the second chalk, and it's not a great shot. It's kind of a distance. I think I've probably given away the Henderson. I went with the Henderson rookie, and again, much like the Griffey, not necessarily a short printed card, but I still think it's undervalued for the player Henderson was. Look at the stats and some of the records he holds, and I know sometimes we talk about some of the goofy things he said, and we laugh at that. But as a player, he was one of the all-time greats. And, a speed guy who could also hit home runs, steal bases, change the game and be a game changer at different ways in the same game. I don't love the card. It's kind of a far away of him in his batting stance. But it's the first card I think of when I think of the A's. And I think I didn't pick the Reggie, now that I'm really kind of talking about the Henderson, because he's not known for, he's known more for being a Yankee than an A. And so I know he was on the A's, but I think that's why I leaned to the Reggie or the Ricky. And Ricky played on lots of other teams too, but I think he's known more.
Rookie is a very is no slouch.
Yeah. So I think I avoided the Reggie because he's known more as a Yankee. I think that was
you avoided the Reggie because you forgot about it.
That too, but I think the reason I forgot about it was because of that.
Okay. Well, then you're really gonna like my next.
Under the bus.
You're gonna love my next pick. The Los Angeles, Anaheim, Los Angeles Angels.
Just say it might be better just to say
California Angels. We're doing the California Angels.
Who's going?
Well, I'll go because I think this is hysterical that I did take the same guy again.
Yeah. But yeah, you picked Reggie twice. I didn't even pick him once.
Because I'm sorry, this is one of my favorite with the glasses, the older Reggie, early Diamond King year. I like that card.
Yeah, I won't argue it. You know, Trout was in the conversation, the Trout update rookie. I thought that was too chalk and not on the same level as Griffey for Seattle. And I don't know, they don't have a lot of standouts. You know, I went with the 2018. I went new, the 2018 Topps Chrome Shohei rookie.
Okay.
I think, you know, it's funny. Like Mike Trout was one of the best players in baseball, and then Ohtani came along, and it became a debate. You know, he may not even be the best player on his team anymore, let alone in baseball. And I know we got some of the controversy with the betting, but I think if Ohtani can stay healthy, he's going to be one of the all-time greats, and that card is going to be, you know, an iconic card. That's where he started. So I picked that. And it might be just a factor, Danny, and chat room and people listening. It may be just the fact that there's not a lot of great Angel cards. You know, you got the Trout update. You know, I don't know how much you love Tim
I
Sam.
thought about
it.
Barry, you know, I thought about it, but nothing hit me. Sorry.
Nolan Ryan, yeah.
The 74, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought of the Ryans. I didn't forget them. I just I went with like what I think a player's going to be at the end of his career, and then that card becomes a key card in the hobby. It already is, but even more so.
Barry, I'm not sure that I have any Rod Carew cards that I really find exciting. If I'm forgetting one, let me know, because I like Rod Carew. All right, so did we just fly through the AL West?
I think we did.
All right, and we're on schedule. Check this out. Look at us.
The plane is scheduled to land at its estimated time of arrival.
39 episodes, and we're on schedule. Okay, let's go to the Central. Right, exactly. Let's start with Cleveland. And this could go in all sorts of directions because you can go vintage, you can go modern. They've had a lot of great players. I was tempted, quite frankly, to go with Al Rosen.
He was in my mind. He was on my mind.
I don't want to ruin it anymore because your player is somebody I thought about.
All right, I don't know. I know sometimes he gets, you know, he kind of gets overlooked, and he's, you know, I don't know. This card is great. I don't own this card, but the Bob Feller 1948 Bowman rookie, and you know you look at how young he is, and I think he, you know, when we talk about great pitchers, we sometimes I think forget Bob Feller in that conversation. We talk about the Gibsons, the Koufax, Spahn, you know, Seaver, Steve Carlton. Sometimes we forget fella, and this guy threw hard when other people weren't really throwing as hard. Nowadays, it's par for the course. But I just remember the video of the motorcycle and his fastball.
You're
And
right. That's how they timed it.
yeah. So this card, it's on my list to eventually get someday. I have the Spawn from the same set, but this was my choice for the Indians. I almost went with one of my favorite players, the 19, I believe, 74 Buddy Bell rookie, but I went with the fella instead.
You can go with a lot of people in the Bell family.
Yeah.
All right. So I went with 49 Bowman Satchel.
Yeah. I can't argue. I can't argue that. I picked, I like the 53 top satchel like a lot of people do. And for whatever reason, I thought in my mind it was a Cleveland Indians card. And when I looked to verify, some told me to check that. And good thing I did, because it's actually, as some probably know, a St. Louis Browns card.
Yep.
So I couldn't use that card. But I won't argue with this pick. This is a pretty good pick.
I like the color on the hat, but he looks so young, and so there's not a lot of real young looking satchels. Even by the 53 card, he looks way older.
Well, even in this picture, he's probably 62. They did some good lighting. So,
It's a stunt double.
it's Gary Pettis Jr.
Right. Well, if he's any shorter, it'd be Gary Coleman. All right. So did we just get through Cleveland?
We did Cleveland. We didn't spend a lot of time there. That, like you said, we didn't pick a Guardians guy. That's for sure.
No, that's why I just kept saying Cleveland. I didn't want to butcher it. So next on the list is the Kansas City Royals. I'm going to let you go first on this one.
All right. I kind of went chalk. What I feel is chalk. I kind of thought Bobby Witt Jr. is one of my favorite players. That's not a Met. I didn't pick him to be transferred. I went chalk with the 75 Brett, whether you want to call it mini, the regular. I know it's kind of chalk, but it's still a great card. It's the first card I think of when I think the Kansas City Royals. And so I went with the Brett rookie from 75 Tops. Chalk, sort of bland as far as exciting, but it's a great card. So it made my list.
Well, if nothing else, I'm consistent in my taste.
I knew you. Here's the other thing. I knew you were picking this.
Would you have picked it?
No, I still wouldn't have. But the fact that I knew you were picking it made my choice of Brett just kind of easier for me.
I don't like the Brett rookie. I don't like the colors on that set specifically.
Yeah,
to me, this is such a classic shot.
It's my favorite Royals card. I guess if I could have one Royals card. Great pick, Barry. Like the 87 Tops did enter my mind along with the Brett rookie, but I ultimately,
Yeah, but with the bat and it's fantastic. I own the card. I love it. It's great. Ruben says 87 Tops Future Star.
Yeah, that's a super popular card to this day.
Yeah, it's a great card. I could have gone with that also, but when I think of it, I think of the bow nose. Who was your Kansas City? That Brett rookie, yeah.
Man, your dementia setting in early.
I really just tuned it out. I really don't like the 87 for sure. Maybe the 86 Tops traded too. Yeah, the 86 Tops traded.
And you know me and close-up facial rookie cards, like acetate and close-up facial rookie cards, and I'll come over your house. Like I'll get in the van.
I'm not touching
if the van. Other people get in a white van that says free candy. I get in vans that say, close-up facial rookies and acetate cards. That's where I get in the van and then I get chloroformed, and away we go.
Mark Hoyle said played against Bobby Wood Sr. in high school. Mark, you or Bo Jackson?
No, him. He's saying him.
That's very cool.
Yeah, but did you give up a home run to him?
Well, right. Did you hit off of him? That's what I want to know.
Because Jason Varitek took me out of the park in Little.
Here, this is the new tops now. John loves a good facial.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll sign up for that. Literally,
Bobby
I'll
Wood
sign up too.
Senior is a great TTMer. That's good to know.
All right.
Okay, so that puts us on to Minnesota. Another one where I to be honest, I thought you were going with the Killer Brew rookie.
But it's a Senator, and I kind of did Washington and went with Nationals. I love the Killer Brew rookie is one of my favorite cards. Period. Not even team related cards. Just one of my. I'll be probably owning one very shortly here. That's the story for another day. I've owned that card 5-6 times. Sold it. I'm probably I'm going to get another one that won't get sold. So I love that card. So I'll put it as my 1A. But
Okay.
because it's Washington Senators, I didn't pick it for that reason. That's the only reason.
Mark says 67 career rookie. Thought about that. Definitely
that was in my short list.
So this is not going to be a popular opinion. I don't like Kirby Puckett.
Why?
A whole lot of reasons I'm not going to get into. I think he had some off the field stuff later in his life that you can Google.
Kirby Puckett for me was one of my favorite players, not from my favorite team. You know, his body type it gave me hope. Like, hey, I can make this too. You know, but you know, really kind of a quiet guy. Just went about his business, did his talking on the field. You know, for his size, was actually a pretty good defensive player.
He was like 5'8".
Well. Yeah, and he was a good defensive player as well as a home run guy. When we talk about what a guy means to a franchise, he's right there in those lists.
Don't get me wrong. They don't win the 87 World Series without him. You know,
yeah. He's a beloved player to a city.
The plexiglass is an all-time favorite here. I get it. He
never played for another team like a Ripken in Baltimore. Yep. That's my pick, but it's not the cards people are putting in the chat room. Should I put it on the screen?
Go for it.
I love this card. 84 Flair update, Kirby Puckett. You got a young Kirby. He's got basically the spring training uniform on here. No one had any idea what kind of player he was going to be at this point. A little thinner at this point than what we've kind of got.
A lot thinner.
Yeah, accustomed to see him playing. And it's just, I know it's a traded card, but the fact that it's not all over the place like an 89 Upper Deck Griffey, to me, this is a card you don't see very often. It's the first card when I think of the Twins. I know Carew is an all-time great, but Puckett did it there his whole career, which was a little shorter than it probably should have been. But I just love this card, and you know, I've owned this one a few times. I don't own it at the moment, but it's on my list to reacquire and then never sell again. So this is my Twins card.
I can certainly respect it. Loved Kirby during his playing days. Definitely a Hall of Fame player. No argument about that at all. Not the card I think of. Now I'm partial to a certain set, and it's going to come up more than once. But
wow!
I gave it away. I thought I had the picture. So I'm going with the Jim Cott rookie card, the 1960 Topps Jim Cott rookie. I love the 60 Topps rookies. Jim Cott, one of the best nicknames of all time, Kitty Cat. Won about 400.
He's still in baseball as a color man.
I said 1960, Bear. I think I did. Well, I meant to. Would you say he's still what?
He's still broadcasted.
I thought he retired last year, but maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe he comes out for special occasions.
Like Weekend at Bernie's.
It's like the bathroom towels, like you can only use at certain times.
Is that how you just described Hall of Famer Jim Cott?
I guess. No offense. He's a good guy. All accounts of I've talked to people who've met him and got went to signings. He's really a kind of what you see on the air is really who he is, and I won't argue with that, but it's not going to beat out my '84 for update bucket. Sorry.
Yeah. All right, so we got through Minnesota. That was one of the tougher ones.
Yeah.
For me, it was anyway. Looking back, I probably would have gone with the Killer Brew had I known that you were not going to. But the Jim Cott, that 60 set, I always think of that, and obviously another one coming up later. So that takes us to Detroit, and this is one that we
we kind of cheated, and we both. It's funny, we both picked this card. We both bought this card at the same time at the National. So there it is, Al Kaline rookie. Ours are in better shape. I just kind of grabbed this from Google, but it's behind me in this display here. 54 Kaline. Again, young Kaline. The double pose with the 54 tops, and a guy that doesn't get enough credit. One of those underrated ball players who played under the shadow of Mays, Mantle, and those guys.
From Baltimore and never played a day in the minors. Went right from high school to the majors.
Yeah, that's something. I didn't pick him for the Baltimore reason, though, just to be a transparent.
I didn't pick him for the Baltimore reason.
No, I know. I'm just busting your chops.
But I think going right from high school to the majors. What's up, Heavy Jay? 54K line will always be the top Tigers card. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
So good to see everybody in the chat room tonight, by the way. Happy Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. And real quick, that's a good segue. I want to say this. I'll be talking about tomorrow in Hobby Highlight too. Take a minute to think about folks who made the ultimate sacrifice. So we have the freedoms to do content, collect cards, and then everything else we enjoy, time with our families. There's some that aren't here anymore that made the ultimate sacrifice so we can enjoy the things we enjoy. So that's what the weekend is about. I try to think about that. I have military in my family that thankfully did not have to make the ultimate sacrifice, but others did, and it's important to recognize that.
Well said, my friend. And on that note, how about the Chicago White Sox? How's that for a transition?
Flowed perfect from sentimental to the White Sox. This one was kind of tough for me, and I think my pick might surprise.
I think I would chalk.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let you go first here.
Mark, tell them thank you for their service.
Yes. Yep. Ditto.
Absolutely. So I went a little chalk here. But once again, I am in my mid 40s, and if you're of that age, the no name.
Yeah, I didn't pick this, but I did pick the guy. I picked the player, not the card.
To me, this is just the one. Now I know he's wearing the Auburn uniform, but it's a White Sox card. So I thought that was more than satisfied our made up requirements here. The no name Frank Thomas, 90 tops, number 1 draft pick. It's just a cool card. He's a big guy. I mean, he's on one knee and he's about the same height as the runner. So
I went Frank Thomas, but I didn't go that card. I went with the 90 Leaf.
Ruben, I'm putting you in timeout. So I'm sorry. You went with the 90 Leaf or the 91 Leaf?
90 Leaf, which is considered, his rookie.
Yep.
Because that card, the Griffey card was still a buzz then. And then the 90 Leaf Frank came along and sort of took a little of that buzz away. Not a ton. It was still the 89 Griffey, but that 90 Leaf Thomas said, "Hey, hold my beer here. We can play in this arena too." And so people were opening up a lot of 90 Leaf in those silver and blue and red packs, myself included, to pull those Frank Thomases. And so when I think the White Sox, and they have a storied history, they have a lot of great players. But the 90 Leaf Frank Thomas, 18-year-old me opened a lot of 90 Leaf trying to pull as many of those as I could.
You ever see the thing with Lincoln and Kennedy? How like Kennedy's secretary was named Lincoln, Lincoln's secretary was named.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Well, Barry says Frank Thomas and Jeff Bagwell were born on the same day, same year. Both played first base and had MVPs in the same season. That's kind of cool.
That is kind of neat.
Yeah.
I had heard that before, but I didn't remember it until Barry said it again.
We love Cliff Clavin facts here, so that's some of our favorite chat room are the Cliff Clavins.
Mark says John Valentine. Heavy J said, Michael Jordan. He did have White Sox cards.
He's answering who's the player in the background on the Auburn.
Hey, that's a good question.
That's John Valentine.
Oh,
yeah, that's what he was answering.
I didn't know that.
See, you learned something here. We're an educational
program. About Frank Thomas.
We're an educational program, John.
I'm all about education.
We're gonna be on PBS next year. That's where I'm trying to get us.
You might. I won't make
it. Wait, this is getting even weirder. Ruben says, Barry, I think they both played.
That's true too.
They're in that at the same time also.
They're in that Cape Cod League set. I believe it's 88 Cape Cod League set. Yep. Good point. Good job, Ruben.
So that was my White Sox.
Yeah, I felt kind of guilty picking Frank Thomas with a lot of their, it's not like they're a new team, but it's just the first card I thought.
I mean, they just don't have any sexy heroes.
Yeah, there's I thought of Hoyt Wilhelm.
But how sexy is a knuckleball pitcher?
Well, when you're winning behind them, it's pretty sexy.
Yeah, not for a card. Hoyle's talking about your set, John, that you were just talking about. Great set. Go to games down the Cape all summer. Yeah, that's supposed to be amazing. I am jealous of people that get to go to the Cape games.
Yeah.
All right. So, did we just finish the Central?
Oh, did we miss anybody?
I think we got it.
All right. We're on pace. We're a little behind pace, but we're all right.
It's all right. We're on to the Big Daddy, the American League East.
I got a feeling we're going to piss Mark Hoyle off. I mean, he saw, we'll see.
Mine will definitely be too chalk, I'm sure. I'm going to go a little bit out of order on this because I don't want to finish with the Blue Jays because that's just not good. So I'm going
to finish with the Orioles.
I mean, whatever happens, happens. So for the Blue Jays, I'm going with Danny's dressed like he's on a Mormon mission. Thank you, John. I am kind of,
Where did it like a NASA thing? You go up somewhere.
So I'm taking.
Come on, Danny Ainge.
Danny Ainge rookie, because when I think of Blue Jays cards, this was one of the first cards when I was collecting that to me he was a star with the Celtics, and that he had they have him at second base, 6'4".
Yeah, he didn't play very long in the big league, but Mark likes it, so you got his vote. Yeah,
I thought about that one actually, John, but I couldn't do it. Jay's saying the same thing.
Yeah. I thought about it. I did, and I probably, I could have picked it. I didn't. I know people aren't going to like it. This is one of my favorite cards. It's not crazy money. Again, we told you it's not about the most expensive card. I have a love affair with Stadium Club. This is one of my favorite cards.
It's a very good
People,
card.
and this is Bo Bichette's Stadium Club 2020 Stadium Club rookie. And it's just a great card. You got the CN Tower, you got the Sky Dome open and fully, the lights, the clouds against the blue sky backdrop. Whenever I see this card, I try to buy them. I don't know how many I own, 40, 50 of them. Again, it's not about the value here. It's about the aesthetics of the card. And this is my favorite Blue Jays card, right? And that's the title of the show, favorite cards of each team. And so there are other great Blue Jays cards, the Bump Wills, others. We could have went with a Joe Carter card potentially. But this is the one for me.
Great card. The Blue Jays were a little bit of a challenge. I know you love that card, but they don't have.
Now, did you know I was going to pick that?
No. No, I thought you were going to go Vlad or Bo, but I didn't expect that one.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite cards. Period.
Well, I know you like
regardless of value. Just like, what is your favorite card to like look at? That's right in the mix.
All right, so I got another team that I had a hard time with. I'm just going to be honest, and I'm going to ask the chat room: Tampa Bay Rays, Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Give me your favorite card. Give me a great Tampa Bay card, and I don't want to hear. Wander Franco rookie, or
I think you're gonna get. I think you might get some Josh Hamiltons maybe in there. He wasn't my pick.
Exactly. Pass. Wade Boggs. I mentioned that. I thought about that. Ultimately, when you think of the organization, I think there's one player that stands out. And this is the 2008 Bowman Chrome Refractor for Evan Longoria. And, to me, it's probably the coolest true Tampa Bay card. He's the guy I think of when I think of Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I won't argue that. I mean, I thought his career was going to go in a different Tampa. Yeah, how about this one? How about this one for going off the grid? Carl Crawford, whose son, by the way, we saw play in Aberdeen a few weeks back, who's putting up some big numbers. Didn't have a good night. No one had a good night that night, I think.
No relation to Sam Crawford.
Yeah. I went off the grid a little bit with the 2000 Bowman Jim Morris rookie card.
No way.
Yes, sir.
Oh, nice.
The 2000 Bowman Jim Morris rookie card, which later was a movie about him. The old, I think it still stands the oldest rookie to make the major leagues. And
well, I think that.
And listen, it's a product of not up against a lot of great competition. So that was my pick.
I stand by the fact that nobody in the chat room has put up a card. They've named players.
Cindy Crawford.
Yes, they're Carl Crawford, Cindy Crawford.
They're picking their best Crawfords now.
Tampa Bay minor league team plays here in Alabama, the Montgomery Biscuits. Barry, just send me biscuits.
Well, they got to have some. I just think a team called the Biscuits, they got to have a cool logo, some cool hats, man.
They should have good biscuits at the stadium.
I'm sure they do. I'm assuming they do.
Michael Crawford was great in Phantom of the Opera. There you go. All right, so I think we've cleared out most of the dead wood here. I'll go ahead and let's knock out the Orioles. I'll let you go first on this one.
This was tough. this was tough. We kind of talked about it, the 57 Brooks, for obvious reasons for me, right? The big facial close-up rookies checks those boxes. Very close to going that way. And I wouldn't have felt bad picking that. I went with, I'm almost like I'm second guessing myself. I went with the 82 Topps Traded Cal Ripken Jr. A great card. Again, short printed out of a traded set. Well, not short printed, but less printed out of a traded set. Him holding the bat. He's not sharing the card with two other guys. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But I don't like threesome cards. I like full facial rookies, but not threesome cards. And so I went with the 82 Topps Traded. The Brooks was right there. I almost wanted to. I thought it'd be cheating, but I would have picked both of them if I could get away with it.
So I ran into the same problem of I obviously had too many cards that I wanted to put on this list. So I'm going to give you the quick rundown of my list. Was the Brooks 57, the Frank 57, the Palmer 66, the Murray 78, the Ripken 82 traded, and I think the 82 3-player card is one of the most famous rookies of the generation. It just is. But my all-time favorite one that I think of is the 1980 Charlotte Orioles Police orange issue. I've talked about.
We talked about this before the show. My only gripe with this, that's a great card. We're not arguing the greatness of the card. It's just not like a pack pull card. But then you could come back with me and with my two traded card picks and say that's out of a factory set, Newman. So I guess I'll be, for that reason I have to accept it. Not to have a choice anyway, but the Steve Stone.
The orange card is the most overrated card in history. Wrong answer. Orange and blue are my favorite color combo. There you go. The two police colors that they did that year. 73 Gritch. Yeah, that was a distant 17th. So
you left off Ken Singleton, Doug DeCinces.
Not great cards though. Good players.
Dempsey.
Great players, not great cards. Rick Dempsey, one of the few players who played in 4 decades, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
How about Kiko Garcia?
Absolutely. Big fan of Kiko. All right. So we got the Orioles done. All right. Now, buckle up. we saved it. All right. Let's just clean it. Denny Martino.
We got 2 teams left. You're acting like we got one. We got 2.
No, we got 2. We got 2 big boys left. No, I'm ready for both of these. The El Presidente, Dennis Martinez, and the 78 Murray was on my
list. 78 Murray was on my short list. I just didn't pick it. It was on the paper. I just didn't check the box. It was on the ballot. I just didn't. It had a hanging chad.
I don't think I look like John Lowenstein, but I'll wear the glasses anyway. He was the guy I was talking about. He disappeared off the planet. They couldn't find him for a couple of years. Seriously.
Yeah, where's Waldo? Where's Lowenstein?
You're wrong. It's the first. I'm kidding.
You know what I like? Hey, what do I like about the 78 Murray card?
The shot?
Yeah, the big close facial card. Rookie card.
You love facials.
I do. I can lie.
All right. So
I like facials and I cannot lie. I think they wrote a song about that. Oh, no, that was Big Butts. Never mind.
Yeah. I'm not touching that.
Yeah, better not.
Okay. So let's go to Boston.
Well, listen, we got the ultimate Boston guy. I think he's still in the room, in Mark.
Mark Hoyle, if you're in the room, who's your ultimate Red Sox card before we put him up? I'd love to see who.
I got it. I'm not going to say it, but I think I know. I'm not sure what card he'll pick. I think I know what player he might go with.
Mark Hoyle is overrated. All right, that's a good one. The 84 Fleer update Clemens. It's a classic one. Mark says 41 Ted Williams.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go there, and so and he's going to be mad at us because I don't think either one of us picked that card. It was on my short list, obviously. If it's not on your list, there's something wrong with you. We can make the argument there's something wrong with us for not picking it, but if it's not on your list, period, there's something wrong with you.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. So here's what I want to clarify. There are cards that I like better, but this is the card that I associate when I think of Red Sox. This is the one, if you told me name a Red Sox card quickly, this is the one that's going to come to mind. You want to go
first? The same card.
Did we do the same card?
We picked the same card. Because when you put it up earlier, by mistake, I said that.
Okay. 1960 Topps, Yaz rookie.
Yep.
Yep. Mark guessed it.
Now, I picked this card too, the 41 play ball. No, I'm not arguing against the 41 play ball Teddy ball game. You can't. But it's our favorite card, right? So here's the thing for me, for Yaz. You know, growing up as a kid in New York City, Brooklyn, I was a Yankee fan initially. But believe it or not, I was a huge Carter Yastrzemski guy, even though I wasn't a Red Sox fan. I love Carter Yastrzemski. From Long Island, multi-sport athlete, still holds high school records to this day that are still in the record books in Long Island. So I had the Yaz album, the 3000. I had a lot of Yaz memorabilia for a New York City kid. My friends would come over and say, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "I love Yaz, man. He's a New York City guy. Like, what I'm supporting. I know he plays for the Red Sox, but he's a New York City guy. He's one of us." And the other story with Yaz, when I really went back and got cards before I was around, when I started buying those cards, the Yaz rookie was one of the first acquisitions I sought out and bought. That card's behind me in this PSA rack here. So the Yaz card for me takes me back to how one of the reasons I got started early in cards. And he was one of my favorite players from a team that wasn't my favorite team. But a New York City guy nonetheless.
I do like the 74 Fisk. Ruben says he likes the 64 over the 60. Teach the 60 rookie. Once again, we talked about it earlier. So, all right. Anybody else have Boston picks before we head to Gotham City? I've always wanted to say Gotham City on air.
Well, what are you doing? Comic book reviews now?
Really? 63 and 64 are the same pick.
Topps never did that.
No, never. Bagwell, Newbern.
Yeah, minor league set. I had a bunch of those at one point.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. When I think of it, it's still going to be the Yaz for me. So, all right. The New York Yankees. I mean, the list of cards you could pick is very.
I know whatever card you pick, someone will be disappointed in your pick.
Well, let me give you my thoughts. 52 Mantle, you can't argue with as being the most well-known card in the hobby, or the most shown card in the hobby. But it's not the one that I think of or that I like the best. How about you? What were your thoughts going into the Yankees?
Well, I will say someone got my pick right in the chat room. I won't say who because it gives the card away early. I didn't pick a Mantle card, and not that they're not worthy. I think that's a no-brainer. But you got to remember, I've told anyone that follows my content knows my relation or what this player means to me. And it was the first player I cried. It was the first time I cried over the death of somebody, and I never even met him. Now I seen him play in Yankee Stadium, but I'd never met him personally. And it's how I learned what death was when he passed away. And
Well,
I remember asking my grandfather, they broke in the news reported what happened. And I said to my grandfather, who I was raised by my grandparents, Grandpa, does this mean he won't be playing for the Yankees anymore? And then I had to be explained what death entailed, and crushed me as a very young kid. That's my card. It's not his rookie, right? But there's a lot of people who probably feel like this is his rookie card because of the Gold Cup, and great shot, right? I forgot the ace guy that's sliding in the home here. I used to know his name. So I think Heavy J knows, or someone else knows, can put it in there. Just a great. You didn't get a lot of action shots during this era of cards, and this was one of them. Everyone loves it. Most people love a Gold Cup, and a lot of people mistakenly believe this is his rookie card. Almost like people think the 52 tops is Mantle rookie cards. I love the Munson rookie card, but this card was a card that really I gravitated to, tried to trade all my friends to get more of. And so 71 Munson, the black border card. It's and in many cases, this card is more valuable than the rookie card because of its condition.
Well, a high condition one is.
So, but it's not, for me, it's not even about the value. I just threw that in there as an antidote. But this is the card I think of, again, the era I grew up with, born in 72. The captain was my guy, my all-time favorite player during when I was watching baseball, and so for me, this is my pick. Again, with the Yankees, you could have picked 100 cards and people would agree with every one, but this just happened to be mine.
And it's Chuck Dobson sliding in.
There you go. And probably the only time, or very few times, Chuck Dobson's going to be mentioned when we talk about 71 cards. Tops Munson card.
All right. Well, I did go Mantle. So I got to fess up to that. But for me, there's just one. There really is. It's the 51 Bowman. Maybe it's chalk. Maybe the 52 tops is the chalk, and this is not. But I feel like in this chat room, this is chalk. This is an educated chat room. I love the color. I love the look. I love the shot. I love the set. I love everything about it.
Yeah, this was on my list. So I had three cards on my list. That one, obviously the Munson I picked, and the 79 Reggie. The 79 Reggie was the first card. Well, not the first card but like the fourth card in the first pack I opened as a 7-year-old kid that got me started my journey in the hobby. So for sentimental reasons, I almost picked that one. I went with the 71 Munson because I was more of a Munson fan than a Reggie fan. But the Reggie got me into the hobby, hook, line, and sinker.
Ruben says it'd be interesting to see how many of Mantle's cards he's actually batting right-handed. Well, if somebody has a Mantle player,
I'm sure someone's broke that down.
I'm sure. Barry says that he got that. He went Bowman back.
Remember those?
Yep. I had a. Did we? Was it at the National or one of the card shows? Gave a little notepad book away, and it had a 51 Bowman Mantle on the front. I don't know.
I never got it.
Yeah. So we landed the plane almost on time here.
We did. You can now take your seatbelts off and head to the restrooms.
Did we miss anything? Is there any cards that?
Well, I'm sure we missed cards. I mean, when you get in the Yankees and the Red Sox, we could do an hour of just like kind of those teams cards. You know what I mean?
We didn't talk about it. I think Steven put it in the chat room for the Orioles. The Bill Ripken Fun Face one. that's certainly, I think,
It didn't make my list. It's an iconic card. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and tell you.
we're doing the Brewers with the National League, Ruben. We're doing current where they are currently.
Yeah, we're kind of keeping it current to the standings or where they are lined today.
Yeah. Mark, thank you. It was fun for us as well.
Yeah, it gave me a little more thought process than I thought. I thought I would just write the teams down and boom, it would come to me. And in some cases, that did happen. In many others, it didn't. And in some cases, I had to kind of Google search like to give me some more choices because I didn't sort of want to miss something potentially. So, I think
I'm going to be honest. I had Chat GPT do the whole thing for me. I'm having so much fun playing with that now.
Well, all right. I'm not gonna. I almost said something else.
Yeah.
Good show. Good show.
Yeah, good show. All right. Any final words?
No, I think it's probably a safe bet. You'll see a National League version of this in the near future. But yeah, this was fun. And when we came up, when you came up with this topic, it's nice because we like to come up with topics that get where the chat room can interact and pick their picks and tell us we're wrong, tell us we're right, tell us we don't know what we're talking about. All of that is true. But we try to pick topics where, the chat room can interplay and interject their picks as well. This is why I thought this was a great topic as well, because we can get other opinions on it. So,
well, Ruben thought I was older than I am, so that's my takeaway from the night is that I look much older.
And Ruben knows I'm older than I am.
Yes, Barry. Happy Memorial Day weekend, John. I want to echo the thoughts that you said before about Memorial Day.
And I know we get an extra day off from work. In my case, being in the education, it's a 4-day weekend for me. Barbecue, spending time with family. But again, take a moment. I think sometimes people mix up Memorial Day and Veterans Day. Memorial Day is the day we remember those who lay down their lives in service of their country. And so even if it's for a minute sometime this weekend, think about it. If it's a family member, obviously, I'm sure you're doing that without me telling you to do so. But we all need to remember the sacrifices made by our men and women who served this country.
Well said. Barry says, nice Upper Deck shirt, John.
I had to represent,
I just wanted to see if somebody was going to catch that tonight, so that made my night.
I could have worn my Old Bay shirt again, but I didn't.
Ruben says it's what you do in public toilets. Oh, I think that's how we're going to finish out the evening. You know what, guys? This was a blast. Thank you as always. John, say goodnight, John.
Good night, John.
Good night, guys.